in defense, and I mean, the terrorists are going to run into the crossfire. Look at that shooting gallery. Malta with 3 kills. Oh, what? Oh, God. Oh!
Jump into the back and it found a couple and killed off one from the Oracle dead, and now they found tools as well. There's no ice blast, but look at Sven cleaving through 1 and 2.
So it's faded out.
Oh no, Sven, no!
He jumped on the replicant! And BKB and the storm!
Hope was a distant memory. You were overwhelmed, and defeat seemed inevitable. The odds were stacked against you, and your enemies were closing in. But in conflict, we find our strength. We can't be held down. Our courage can't be suppressed. Our brilliance can't be denied. Our home is on the battlefield. We are unstoppable. We are fearless. We are the Republic of Gamers.
in the vents, and I mean, the terrorists are going to run into the crossfire. Look at that shooting gallery. Malta with 3 kills. Oh, what? Oh, God. Oh.
Jump into the back and they found a couple and killed off one. Into from the Oracle dead, and now they found tools as well. There's no ice blast. Look at Sven cleaving through 1 and 2.
So it's faded out.
Oh no, Sven, no!
He jumped on the replicant! And BKB and the Storm!
Hope was a distant memory. You were overwhelmed, and defeat seemed inevitable. The odds were stacked against you, and your enemies were closing in. But in conflict, we find our strength. We can't be held down. Our courage can't be suppressed. Our brilliance can't be denied. Our home is on the battlefield. We are unstoppable. We are fearless. We are the Republic of Gamers.
in the vents, and I mean, the terrorists are going to run into the crossfire. Look at that shooting gallery. Malta with 3 kills. Oh, what? Oh, God. Oh!
Jump into the back and it found a couple and killed off one into from the Oracle dead, and now they found tools as well. There's no ice blast. Look at Sven cleaving through 1 and 2.
So it's faded out.
Oh no, Sven, no!
He jumped on the replicant and BKB and the storm!
Hope was a distant memory. You were overwhelmed, and defeat seemed inevitable. The odds were stacked against you, and your enemies were closing in. But in conflict, we find our strength. We can't be held down.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we've made you wait long enough. Here we go. We're getting underway with Signify versus Aggressive 5 at the ROG Masters South Asia LAN finale. I'm CloudX. Joining me is Gambit. Gambit, you've had a bit of a marathon session, but you've also had an equally long break coming into this one. What are your thoughts entering this match?
I mean, I guess the break was longer than the last series, but I mean, we did kind of have another series which happened off the stream, so I think we should talk about that, give our viewers a little bit of a heads up as to what happened there.
Yeah,
So when to take
unfortunately, I didn't quite catch the entire match, but what I can tell you is the result. If you don't want spoilers, which I'm pretty sure nobody wants, close your ears in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you got Turtle taking a 2-0 defeat at the hands of the Council. So the Council have now moved on in the lower brackets, and tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. they'll be facing off versus Go Figure for a chance to play the loser of this particular matchup. Both those matches are going to be best of threes, and the winner at tomorrow will make it through to the main event happening on the 20th to face the winner of this particular matchup. We've got a Cuddle first pick, by the way, coming out from Signify. Everyone's following GH's lead, apparently.
So looks like all GH heroes, Keeper of the Light, Earthshaker. I think the next pick should be the Slada, and what's his third hero? I believe it was the Wisp. Yeah, it should be the Wisp. And we have a full GH lineup coming out from Signify. But a small correction on your end. I think it was a 2-1 win for Council rather than.
Didn't I say 2-1?
You said 2-0.
Oh, my bad, guys. It's 2-1. Turtles did take a game off the Council.
Okay, so Signify, they go for the KOTL and Earthshaker. I think this is gonna be a. It's a core Earthshaker coming out from Skembulu, I believe.
So
He's
the
on the
primary
offlane for this.
roster has been with X-Drag on the offlane, and I know that they pick a lot of offlane Earthshaker for X-Drag. He's quite a beast on that Earthshaker, I have to admit. But yeah, I'm curious to see how Skembulu takes it up on the offlane role, and whether or not we are going to see No Chance picking it up instead.
It could be, but I also have seen No Chance being the player who picks up the KOTL. So we just have to wait and find out. But I think also a problem for Earthshaker could be the fact that his blink might get cancelled by the Clockwork with something like the Rocket Flare. So he needs to be a little bit careful with his positioning here. Even the silencer isn't too kind on the Earthshaker, so it's generally going to be Earthshaker who has to initiate rather than wait for the others.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues of facing up against the silencer is that even if you unload with the mother of all echo slams, there's always the chance that you don't catch the silencer in it. And if the silencer stays out, he pops the global silence, you can't follow up with the chain stuns, and usually the echo slam by itself is not enough to finish the job on core heroes at the very least. And you do need the follow-ups in the form of the enchant totem, the hit, as well as the fissure. And with the silencer coming out, you disrupt his momentum right in the middle of the echo slam, and you can really turn a fight in your favor. Because essentially, a silenced Earthshaker in the middle of multiple heroes he's actually in a bad spot if you think of it. Oh wow,
it's pretty much going to be a Yule's game though from the Earthshaker with the silencer on the field.
Yeah, eventually he's gonna have to get that Yule Scepter. But look at this, man. You got a third pick Necro. He wasn't banned out in the earlier stage. Signify, have they let this slip unwillingly? Because I don't think they have room for an ancient apparition here in their draft.
No, they actually don't. But I mean, I guess Signify are okay with the Necrophos. They would have expected it, should have expected it, because it is such a popular hero in this patch. Pretty sure it's gonna get nerfed very, very soon. But until that happens, Necrophos is going to be the bane of pubs and the bane of this match, probably.
So what Signify's gone and done is they banned out the Viper and the Lifestealer. These are both signature Aggressive 5 heroes that I think Aggressive 5 are the only team that early picks the Viper in this entire tournament. We saw them do it earlier on as well in their match. I'm really curious about whether or not they actually let this Necrophos slip by mistake, because we're also seeing Ova taking his time with this next pickup. So I think they were actually caught off guard here by this.
Yeah, I mean, that is also something very interesting. Because when Signify started out, it was No Chance who was on the drafting position, but they have kind of switched it up and given it to Ova for the last few weeks at least. Mm-hmm. And I think the result speaks for itself. They kind of didn't win against Genesis in the Challenger League, but they kind of made up for it recently.
Yeah, so, they made up for it. How, man? They destroyed them.
Yeah. And that too with a draft that didn't look like it would have achieved a lot. But Venomancer, that was there.
Yeah, Venomancer is like the trump card if he gets through the pool. But they've got a Batrider coming out on Signify, so we are indeed going to see the roaming Earthshaker, which is either going to be a No Chance or an Ova. I mean, I know you said that Ova's, so rather No Chance has played the Kotl for their squad in the past, but given that No Chance has been running the 4 role, I assume that it is going to be him on the Earthshaker.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much safe to say right now that it is No Chance on the Earthshaker. He generally plays the roaming hero, the one who likes to pressure all the lanes. It's mostly on the Slada, but looks like it's gonna be Earthshaker this game. So Earthshaker, Batrider, Keeper of the Light. If they can get a kidnap on that silencer, maybe the fights do start going their way.
Yeah, I think so. That
I
mean, the last
is
one.
the bad target, right? To get just jump in and bring to a team.
I think it really depends on whether or not the global silence is online. If the silence is off, you go for the if the silence is up, you go for the silencer. If it's not, you go for the Necrophos. The good thing about this Batrider pick from them, they picked it up at a time when there are no real ways to cancel out that lasso takeaway with the Batrider. I mean, you don't have any spells with 0 cast point. You don't have any sort of some purges or dispels coming out on the side of aggressive 5 either. Sure, they're going to get a bit more mobility with this Weaver, but I feel like Weaver is a counterintuitive pick into that Keeper of the Light. The mana leak works wonders versus him in the early stages of the game.
I think it could still work though, because he's generally a hero which builds Linkins, and then the Batrider is kind of rendered useless.
That's true, but I mean, they have a fair few ways to cancel out that Linkins this game.
Yeah, and it's also one of those heroes which can, scurry into the back lines and start hitting on the Keeper of the Light. So it does have its benefits in this lineup, especially if they can keep it alive with some of the heals from the Necrophos. I think it can do a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, I agree.
So Batrider and Lina.
A5 could actually switch things up here. I mean, they could run that Clockwork on the offlane, which they do every now and then with A35. And then they could even possibly pick up, a support that's good at dealing with that Batrider lasso, or rather has a dispel versus him. I'm thinking an Oracle, maybe a Lion.
Or a Rubik, maybe?
Yeah, Rubik's not bad.
But I genuinely have never seen Pinkman playing Rubik, so he's mostly always on a melee. He's basically does what No Chance does for the other side, which is a melee, a tanky 4 position which tries to go and pressure the lanes. So, I mean, normally I would say he's on the Clockwork, but this game it doesn't look. I mean, it looks that way as well, but A35 is also a good Clockwork player, so they have a little bit of a wiggle room there.
Pasol's picked up his comfort hero though. He's gone for that silencer pick, and it's something that he plays exceedingly well, I have to say. Signify is going to round out their draft with the Mirana as their final pick, so they've really made their intentions clear. They're not aiming to take this game way too late. They're probably going to look to close out early. I assume this is going to be Blizzard on the core Mirana, and I do think there's merit in going for the magic damage build here, especially up against that Necrophos.
Yeah, but also I see a problem with the fact that once the global silence is popped, none of the 5 heroes really do anything, because all of them are kind of magic damage based, and it kind of puts a halt to that. So it'll all come down to whether silencer can get early level 6.
Unless we're going to see one of those Manta Diffusal Miranas coming out here, which also makes sense versus the silencer and the Necrophos.
Yeah, I believe we will see that. But even then, at least in the early stages of the game, when at least the first couple of global silences could actually work in aggressive 5
definitely.
flavor.
So I think it's
Sand King for HA5.
Yeah, I think this is a good pick coming out from them. There's the age-old combination of the global silence and the epicenter that go well together. Even, like you said, in the early stages when the first few global silences are available, they should be able to put that combo to use. And honestly, it's not a bad idea to just get trigger happy with it in the early stages and get a few kills and try and take objectives. It's a good draft coming out from A5. They've got tower takedown with the Weaver, they've got initiation with the Clockwork, counter initiation with the Silencer, and a frontline tank in that Necrophos. I'd like to see how Signify stacks up against this, because it's been a while since we've actually seen them draft on even footing against anyone else.
Also, this is one of their first major lands, so I'm pretty sure they have something planned. We know they've been practicing. They kind of played the small land for the Asus qualifiers as well, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess that does count. Yeah.
Wow, that disparity in the compendium levels.
It's like someone's been spending a lot more money on gaming here. But it's been a while. Let's start off with the introductions. We've already introduced Signify earlier on today, but let's do it again. Ova's going to be handling that Earthshaker, so it's going to be No Chance on the Coddle. You kind of called it earlier on. Lina's going to be handled by Crowley. You've got Mirana in the hands of Blizzard, who seems to be going to the off lane. And then Batrider on Lulu, aka Skembaloo, going to the safe lane.
Okay. For the side of aggressive 5, Flare, or Pasol as we know him, is on the Silencer. We have Paddling.
I think we're going to see first blood here. No Chance. Run down by the battery assault. Fisher. Oh, he tried to block him out, but was unsuccessful there. No Chance goes down. Yeah, go ahead.
They've kind of been studying Signify, I believe, because No Chance likes to do this every game, and he didn't even manage to get the ward down. So very quick stuff coming out from Aggressive 5 to try and prevent that camp being blocked. And they get their own ward down as well. Okay, so coming back to A5, we have Flare or Pasol on the Silencer. We have Paddling on the Necrophos. We have Negi on the Vio. We have Pinkman who's going to be handling the Clockwork. And we have Goredgo, or A35 as we know him, on the Sand King.
Alright, let's see what they've got up their sleeves here. Signify starting off with a minor disadvantage in this game. They're going to run into... Wow, No Chance again. This is the second time he went for that ward and he's probably going to go down here. One more Patry Saltic would have done it, but he survives for now. In fact, the Fisher block from Over has done a fair bit of work on Pinkman's Clockwork as well. Negi is thinking of going in there. No Chance baiting him like the silly little cockroach that he is, but his rationality gets the better of him there and he stays back.
Does that ward block that camp though? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I think it's just outside the periphery.
Yeah. Didn't expect a mistake like that coming in from someone like No Chance.
That's a dire sentry ward though.
Oh, that's a dire sentry. Well,
Yeah,
they thought then. Okay, my bad.
Anyway, you've got Blizzard who started with the arrow, so he is fairly susceptible here to that Clockwork running at him. But fortunately for him, Clockwork made a base strip after that Fisher caught him out. He doesn't have a TP available though. I think he TP'd back, so he's gonna have to make the long walk of shame back to the lane. And suddenly, I think it was all worth it for No Chance, all according to plan.
I mean, he himself has to go back as well, but
Does he though? I mean,
okay.
he's fine with just standing back and leeching EXP. He's not put a skill point into anything just yet.
We'll find out. But this is an aggressive try against a viewer, and I'm not sure if that works to Signify's advantage that much. I mean, if Silencer can get some 2-3 man Arcane Curses, they can definitely get the lane to go in their favor.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are walking on thin ice, but at the same time, Kotl and Earthshaker make for a really potent duo in these aggressive tri lanes. It's also a range score on both sides, so they shouldn't really be able to poke at each other that much up until either side decides to commit. But I think this is where Flare will really benefit from getting that point in the Glaives of Wisdom early. He'll be able to harass and zone out the Signify supports a bit more efficiently.
He's getting harassed quite a bit.
No Chance. Gets that Illuminate off. They get the arrow off as well. Well, the Fisher did miss. It still blocked out the Weaver. And that scores them the kill. Negi just really getting ahead of himself. They're going in too far. Not recognizing that the Earthshaker might have been in the vicinity.
Oops,
Blizzard.
a little bit of lag.
Looks like he stays ahead further as well, and he's gonna go down now. What's going on in this top lane? They're just getting slaughtered one after the other, and No Chance now blocked out is gonna go down as well, as Negi's gonna chase him through. They should get this kill quite comfortably. He's making as much space as he can, but it doesn't matter. Flare was there to clean it up. Double kill for him, and this is really turning out to be a story of every single Silencer game he plays. He gets the early intelligence in the back pocket and starts to hit like a truck right from the get-go.
Yeah, this Trident is definitely not going the way that Signify would have wanted. Sure, they got a kill on the viewer, but they kind of fed two important heroes. They don't really want the KOTL to die that many times in lane. He's already died twice.
A35 has 6 sticky napalm charges upon him, while Skembaloo is taking some damage from that tower as well. Goredgo had that point in the sandstorm. He did go under cover of it for a moment. But this is close. Someone is definitely going to die. The question is it going to be both of them, or is it just going to be the bat? Looks like the bat changes aggro. He's still chasing forward Goredgo. He doesn't really have a Burrow Strike and will go down. Skembaloo with that clutch Fairy Fire and aggro change outstills his opponent.
Them 8k plays coming out from Skembaloo right there. Just baiting his opponent. Going.
Crowley, meanwhile, at the middle lane, gets back up from Ova as well. They should get this kill on Negi, on Paddling, sorry, and yes, they do. Crowley gets that one despite the Necrophos popping his salve. That means that Blizzard has been left alone, and they're going to try and make something happen on him. Immediately, he leaps out, knowing that his life was in peril.
But the problem is every time the supports leave him, he can't really approach the creep wave anymore. Because if you see how the supports are positioning themselves, they're just ahead of the creeps. So they're not even taking the aggro from the rage creep or something like that. So this is going to be really, really tough for Blizzard here.
A5 are playing it right. I mean, while they did take a bit of a beating in the middle lane, they're going to make the most of it here. In fact, they're going to get the cogs blocking him in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, so he can get that leap off. Does get the leap and gets away to safety. Notice the mango build on him as well. Just in case he runs out of mana, he has that mango to be able to leap away at the last second. Blizzard is not taking any chances here, just playing it safe, letting the rest of his lanes do their business and pull out ahead for now.
I mean, he is managing to survive in this lane, but I don't think that's going to be enough. When they do need a little bit of right click to come their way, Blizzard won't probably have it.
Yeah, and you know, despite that one death on the A35 Sand King on the bottom lane, he's doing okay for now. He's got himself a decent 9 CS. Well, he's also picked up the magic stick, which means that Scambaloo's going to have a harder time killing him.
I mean, he did die, but that forced Lulu to walk all the way back to his fountain and then TP back. So it was basically enough time for A35 to pick up some levels and actually catch up in terms of last hits.
Man, this guy is just walking on thin ice on this top lane. Again, just leaping away by the skin of his teeth to get some creeps under his tower. There's also the fact that the middle lane has started to hit stellar score once again. Paddling is getting some decent farm up against Crowley here. And he's getting harder and harder to kill as time passes by. I believe he should be calling out the infused raindrops. Yeah, there it is. He's no longer killable here. I mean, killing Paddling is going to take a lot more than just a Fisher this time around.
Yeah, I mean, Earthshaker, he's managed to rotate once onto the mid lane. I think the next target should be him going to the bot lane and trying to secure a kill on A35.
I think
Lulu is chasing
him covered, man. Just going in deep like this, but double TPs coming in, one from the north, one from the south. The cogs are there and they will smack Lulu on his way out. He's still trying to just fly over the treetops and get the hell away from there, but Goredgo is chasing, trying to find the shorter route, whiffs on the Burrow strike. Scambaloo should be able to survive this. Again, space has now been created. He's managed to pull 2 supports towards him, which gives Blizzard some breathing room on the top side.
Yeah, and I think he's going to pick up his Tranquil Boots as well. So he doesn't have to make another trip back home. But he still have to wait on the sidelines for a while to heal up.
Yeah, he's got a lot of consumables, man. 2 clarity potions, boots, Tranquil Boots, as well as a bottle. He actually doesn't need to go back at all.
Yeah, finally some space for the Mirana to get some last hits down. How's Crowley doing in the mid lane? He has a haste bottled up. Might be looking to make some plays with it.
I think it's Shrine time though. We've hit the 5-minute mark. He is at level 6. Shrine's up. Shoves his Null Talismans back in, and now they should be looking to help him out at middle lane. Unless he wants to go bottom.
Blizzard is actually not doing too bad. He's actually at par with the Weaver and the Necros. I mean, he must have caught up recently because he wasn't doing that well before.
So he actually got some neutral kills as well with the creeps, the dire creeps that were pulled there. But more importantly, he's managed to pull the creep wave back with the leap every now and then, getting him some CS under his tower. So those risky plays are paying off for him.
Yeah. I mean, big props to him because he started out with literally no stats. He started out with a wand, which is okay, but no.
All that thought.
No rave band.
Arrow connects. There's the DD hasted. Lina coming in. Pasol will go down. As clockwork. If he gets tagged by the Fisher here, it could be going down. They get the LSA. They'll get a fair bit of damage. Laguna Blade committed as well. A few more hits will do the job. It's a double kill here for Crowley, as Negi needs to be careful about overcommitting here. Crowley doesn't have too much mana to work with, but that DD rune is still an ever-looming threat. The Fisher comes out, the LSA as well. Crowley's taking a beating here. He's gonna get run down by Negi, who's got that the Weaver Shikuchi coming back online. Runs forward and gets the kill. In fact, Flare gets the kill and even steals 2 more intelligence. That kind of evens it out, I'd say.
A little bit too aggressive for Crowley there. Just stopping and trying to get some gold on that bug which was attached to it. But if you look at the bot lane, it's again, Lulu has pushed the creep wave beyond the tower and he's actually putting a lot of pressure on Sand King. But there is a full wand up on Goredgo, so I think he's going to be pretty okay at this point.
Yeah, I don't think tower dives are possible anymore. Anyway, they've got a big arrow connecting on the top lane. Flare turns around with his Arcane Curse before making his way out of here. Do have the leap on Blizzard and he's going to commit it for now. Immediately TP's out. That was the right move. If he didn't TP right there, Negi would have run him down and killed him certainly. That Swarm had stacked up for quite a while and should have taken away a fair bit of his armor.
Yeah. Where was the clockwork and all of this? I haven't seen him getting active too much. He's sitting at level 3, so he has picked up some levels.
I think his objective is to try and get a kill on Crowley now. They need to give the Necrophos a bit more of an advantage. While he is on top of the CS boards, he's not on top of the net worth boards. He's also got the Reaper scythe available, and adding 10 seconds to someone's respawn time this early on in the game could be quite a valuable move from them.
And they've given up the jungle to no chance. They've just told him, go man, do your thing. Get an axe. We only want to see you with an axe, otherwise just stay in the jungle.
Yeah, but so far no joy. He's actually taking a while to get there. I do see some stacks in the jungle. And he should be looking to farm them up right about now. There isn't a shrine available on this top lane to help his cause though.
He's doing fairly okay though. He's sitting at level 4. But there is a...
Smoke rotation coming in, Clockwork. He's in a decent position to just run up to Crowley, but Crowley's standing a little too far out here. Goes forward for another Dragon Slave. In fact, he's walking into the Clockwork, gets cogged up and should be going down. This will be a Reaper side kill, and that's going to put Crowley on the sidelines for 40 seconds. Over. They're going to come in and make something happen, but Lulu wasn't in the vicinity quickly enough. Good moves coming out from A5. They're just being proactive here, making sure that they're the ones on the aggressive front. Getting that intelligence stacked up for Flare, making sure that their mid game is extremely strong.
Yeah, I mean, there was very patient coming in from Pinkman and Pasol there, getting that gank off on Crowley, and it's a Reaper side kill, which adds a lot of value in this at this time of the game. And I mean, Crowley himself, he's not doing that bad in terms of last hits, but that death does cost him quite a bit.
They actually forced Blizzard off of the top lane once again. They made him TP all the way back to the fountain as Negi continues to free farm on this top lane. Negi is still behind the Mirana in terms of net worth, but that's about to change as he's got the lane to himself now. But we are seeing a lane switch up coming out with the Batrider, who's almost got his drums finished up, looking to get active, I assume, after one more level where he'll pick up the Flaming Lasso.
Yeah, and Negi's picked up a casual bracer. It's not something you see too often. Just for the stats, just for that HP.
Yeah, this is...
And yeah, A35 is not too far away from that blink himself. He's actually going to reach it at a very decent time, and considering the fact that Batrider didn't get it,
mid.
And the mid lane.
Goes straight up on paddling, but man, he's tanky. He soaks it all up and heals back up, but Scambaloo makes sure that he goes down anyway. He got over, taking some damage. The lasso comes out from Scambaloo, who just hit level 6. The LSA connects on the way out for the Sand King. They control him with the Fissure, holding him at bay there, but now they're going forward. A whiff Burrow Strike coming out. Goredko will pay for that with his life as Lulu and, well, the three of them are going to share the money for that. Even Negi's going to go down, giving Crowley a double kill. Signify will level the field at the middle lane, getting themselves 3 kills for the price of 1.
Yeah, and that was a costly mistake from the Sand King. That missed Burrow Strike actually cost both the kills. I don't think either Weaver or the Sand King would have fallen if that Burrow Strike had connected.
Yeah, in fact, I think it might have been the Lina that went down instead had that Burrow connected. That was a big mistake coming out. Anyway, Blizzard can't continue to do shenanigans here by himself as Clockwork is in the vicinity. Meanwhile, at mid, I think they tagged him again. They are going to get the stuns off. The Global Silence did kick in. They have an Echo Slam if they really want to commit. It looks like they do. It's completely worth it for a hero like the Necrophos. In fact, they're going to get a freebie in the form of Flare perhaps, but Felina has something to say about this. No hook shot available. Arrow just whiffing onto Flare, but Flare is still just being chased with 1 point of the sticky napalm committed on him. Blizzard will run him down on one side and then he'll come back to finish the job on the Clockwork as well. Clock with the cogs pushing Blizzard up onto the cliff while Negi TP's back into the fray. They just want to fight and they want to fight now. Blizzard tagged with the Swarm along with Crowley. No hook shot for the Clockwork, who's still standing back at level 5. No way to re-engage for A5.
Wow, Blizzard has been really active in this early game. Not something you expect from a 1 position.
Yeah, they're gonna fire another arrow, hoping to find that Sand King, but they won't get it. But yeah, while all of that was happening, they got the bottom tier 1 tower as well on the side of Signify. The top tier 1 has also dropped. I'm not sure if they did that earlier. Okay, so Blizzard got the bottom tier 1 himself, and the top tier 1 went down to the creeps, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you look at this draft, or if you look at this game, you'll feel like No Chance is the carry, while Blizzard is, he's probably the offlane or something, rotating around and making plays. Because No Chance was the one who pushed out the top wave and actually secured the tower. And he's been constantly jungling ever since.
So he's not going for the Ags first. It's going to be a 4-staff coming out for No Chance before anything else. They do need a 4-staff up against that Clockwork, so this might just be the right decision.
I think it makes sense for Lina to go on herself before the Bloodstone because not a big fan of the rushing though. Yeah, she switched it up as well. Going for the first stuff first. Really need that item against the Clockwork. So 835's Blink Dagger did get delayed quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a similar story for Ova as well. He's just sitting at 80 gold right now with the Arcanes finished up. But yeah, 835 is going to get it soon. There should be about a 15 to 16 minute Blink Dagger coming out of the Sand King. But man, he is spooked. He just doesn't want to go into the jungle right now. Nah, never mind. He's not spooked. He wants to be efficient and take lane farm instead.
How's Cambalulu's Blink doing? I think now with the fact that 835 did go down a few times, they might get Blinks at a similar time. Sure, of course, 835 will get it faster than him, but he does have drums to add to his inventory.
Yeah, not just the drums. It's drums, bottles, tranquils, and a magic ones. Batrider is really further ahead. Yeah, this I think
no bottle builds are getting really popular though. You don't see a bottle on anyone, I believe, on the
top. Look at this Echo Slam unloads, and then they follow it up as well. They even had no chance setting up with the Illuminate. Weaver did not see that coming under the cover of the Moonlight Shadow. Who needs a Blink Dagger when you've got teammates like these?
The prize is mine.
Mid lane, they have gone with the lasso. The Global Silence comes in a bit late, but it's enough to prevent the kill on the
Yeah, that fizzled out really quickly. Looks like a Laguna Blade wasn't committed there either, so they are ready to fight once more. This puts Signify in a fairly comfortable spot, but the Global is down for a good 100 plus seconds. And look at this, Blizzard's even going to pick up a DD rune. Perhaps they just group up and try and take something off of this. Or they could wait. I mean, Scambalu's almost got his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I mean, normally if you look at Signify's lineup, it doesn't seem like a very synergistic lineup. You can't really understand what type of game plan they have in mind. But I mean, they've grouped up really well and they're taking the fights really well.
Epicenter and Maiden and the Reaper side as well. They'll commit everything and the kitchen sink as well on Crowley's head, and it's well worth it. In fact, it's a killing spree going in favor of the Necrophos.
And Negi got a solo kill on the KOTL on top.
He had backup. The Clockwork did commit the hook shot there. So that's again aggressive fight, just fighting back in these really minor ways. You know, while they may be losing the major fights, they're still finding these pickups time and again, and still finding farm on some of their core heroes. It's not a bad way to play this game, but it doesn't seem very sustainable. At the very least, they've managed to shave some time off the cooldown and the Global Silence, which will make them ready to fight once more.
Yeah. I mean, their kills are a lot more valuable because they come at the Reaper side. So that does add some more value rather than just normal kills which Signify are getting.
True, and it's also, you know, the fact that they're playing with an economic deficit, which makes their kills worth a lot more money as well.
So even Blizzard looks like he's going for a Lincoln Sphere. So this is a very old school Mirana build, the Lincoln Sphere rush. Wow, I don't think I've seen this in a long time.
Block. He's TP'd into the shrine now as Scambalu is waiting to jump in. They'll start with a hook shot onto Blizzard. No Global Silence, but can they catch him anyway? They do manage to lasso up the Silencer on one side, but Lina's getting beaten up here by Weaver. He gets the kill. Crowley falls. Meanwhile, Flare falls behind, and it looks like they're ready to commit once again. This fight looks to be going in favor of Aggressive 5's way. They do get the kill on the Mirana as well, so both cores are down for the side of Signify, and it looks like Scambalu could be in trouble next. They're going to pop a shrine and try and make something happen. They will drop down the Fisher. Negi gets the swarm off, so Scambalu and Oba have to be careful about how they fight around this. The longer they wait with the bugs on them, the harder it's going to get for them to get out of this. Weaver still giving chase, goes on to Lulu. Lulu doesn't have an escape mechanism. He has to juke through the fog, but Negi, what? Why?
I have no idea. He might have been a little bit scared about the backup coming in. He probably thought that someone like the Mirana was TPing in, but I'm not sure.
Okay, Aggressive 5 showing some signs of real life here. Getting those core kills before the fight begins, and now they've got the Global Silence for the next fight as well. They're definitely in a position to take another engagement, and they have the smoke to make it work. Even the Reaper side is available if they're looking for those high value pickoffs. Ooh, lag.
Yeah. I think Signify should just take it a little bit slow, get some items on their cores, get that Lincoln Sphere done, get that Bloodstone done, and even try and maybe secure a blink for for the Earthshaker before they try to do anything.
Yeah, well, they've got the detection there. They're going to spot out that Batrider, the 4-staff away, but the hook shot to follow the global silence, giving them a fair bit of confidence, but the silence is now worn off. And Crowley, they may not be a part of this fight, but it looks like the rest of Signify still want to take it.
Yeah, that's a nice global silence which is baited out by Signify there. But as we've seen, A5 don't really need that global silence to take good fights. They've been doing it without it, so I don't see them being too concerned.
I'm a little confused about where the follow-up was. Was Sandking not in the vicinity there? Because he still seems to have a TP scroll available. He could have joined that fight.
No, I think Sand King was there in that fight. Sand King was definitely in that fight. He was the first person to walk in.
Oh, that's strange. I mean, I figured that after the global, they'd sort of had a blink and a burrow strike to back things up, but instead you had Pinkman running in and getting the hook shot off on the Batrider, post which he just ran away.
Yeah, this Sand King actually has a pretty decent amount of farm. Blink and 4-staff. He should be looking for some sweet initiations at this point.
They're going for the kill on the Sand King. The LSA will connect while he's sitting pretty in there. They've got the Laguna Blade committed as well, but he burrow strikes away after a 4-staff and survives. No arrow coming in there, surprisingly, but the arrow will now connect onto the clockwork. But Paddling runs forward like the beast that he is. He's chosen to go for the Hood of Defiance first, making him that much more difficult to kill. There's really no sign of Wizard picking up his Diffusal Blade.
Yeah, these fights have been going a little weird. When the teams commit their big ultimates, they don't really seem to get a lot. They commit the Laguna, they don't get a kill. They commit the Global Silence, they don't get a kill. But the small skirmishes are where both the teams are excelling.
Yep. Scambloo, meanwhile, he's really the key for initiation here in Signify's favor. He needs to be along with their team if they want to make plays. It's pretty evident that without the Batrider to start the fight, so at least join the fray in these fights, they just don't have enough control and enough damage to bring down those targets. Even the Sand King survives. And Sand King honestly isn't the tankiest of heroes here. If you try and pick up a Necrophos by himself like that, there's no way he's gonna die.
I also think the problem is that no one on Signify is carrying any detection. So Sand King has that room to wiggle around and try and make some big plays. They really need to pick up a dust or at least a sentry on someone if they want to contest.
And it seems like Signify might just be committing to the late game here because we're seeing no chance build towards the Dragonum Scepter now. While it looks like the Bloodstone should be coming online shortly for Crowley.
The prize is mine.
Yeah, but he's died a fair few times, honestly. I mean, as soon as he picks up the Bloodstone, I hope he changes up his playstyle, tries to be a little conservative and get some charges because that item is not of much use when you don't have any charges on it. But there is a Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker.
Yep, and it looks like Ova and Scambloo are just waiting up top, hoping for someone to come in. This is how they want to make their Blink Dagger reveal, apparently, by using the Batrider as bait. But no one's going to take that bait on the side of A5. They're on the hunt on their own with their smoke spin pop. We're seeing TPs come towards the top side now. It's going to be Negi that enters the fray first. No creeps available though. Negi in a fairly comfortable situation here, but not for long. His Dire Observer was watching Blizzard's movements, so Negi's going to back away, and that over reveal will not happen just yet with his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, that episode has been very, very crucial. Last time also it caught out the 3 members from Signify. This time it saves Negi's life here.
Koretko walks into Ova. They've spotted him out here. They're just walking straight past each other. They didn't see each other just yet. They've gone in the wrong direction. Koretko, man, he just dodged a bullet there and might just have fired one of his own inadvertently. The Dyers even used the scans. So they know that they're hanging around in the vicinity here, but no detection. They pop no detection whatsoever. And Signify will manage to TP out their heroes as well. What a close shave for them.
That was just 2 heroes from Signify forcing out all 5 on top. So a little bit of an efficient play coming out from Signify. A bit lucky, I would say, because they don't... I mean, Clockwork is there to provide vision in places like that forest area. But using that Moonlight Shadow to great effect.
Blizzard
so 4-staff is up.
Lincoln's online now though. But really, all this really does is adds defensive layers to him. There's still not enough firepower coming out on the side of Signify. I think the Echo Slam is really their most damaging tool at this point, and if they whiff that, it's pretty much done and over with.
So Lina's picked up a Bloodstone. What do you think she goes for next? A standard Shadow Blade, or do you think a BKB is of the order for Lina.
Oh yeah, I definitely think either the Yules or the BKB is necessary here.
Even a
There's
Link is
just
for that fact is not bad.
so many defensive items that she needs to pick up this game. It's going to be really difficult for her to pick up things like the Shadow Blade and the Deadlist. Anyway, did I say Deadlist? I meant a Bloodthorn. No chance on the bottom lane. Tanks up a full Epicenter. Why is he still alive? Felina's the one that goes down first, and No Chance finally ends up dropping as Negi enters the party. Puts a stop to that Blizzard. He's been tagged with bugs. He does have the leap and will get onto his tier 1 tower where Ova awaits to try and make a counter play. They have that Blink, they have that Echo Slam. Negi, if he sticks around here for much longer, he could be going down. They need to line up an arrow though after that Echo Slam. Arrow goes in, connects after the Fisher. They've seen him there. They're going to try and hold him there for as long as possible, but the detection was unavailable. Negi goes down at the end of it all. Ova timing the stuns perfectly with the Echo Slam. Tail end of things.
And all the while, the other two heroes have been forcing out the other two lanes, Crowley on the mid. Meanwhile, they've gone in on the top with the lasso. It's gonna be
committed. Yep, easy pick off there. This is bait and switch Dota at its finest again.
I honestly think that if Negi had skipped the Dragonlance and gone directly for the Linken's, it would have been a little bit better. But he chose to go for a little bit of stats, and I think that kill is pretty much that Linken's Sphere not being online there.
Yeah, it does seem like a... I mean, in hindsight, it does seem like it's painful, but at the same time, I'd say the Dragonlance has helped him get a few kills of his own. Flare. His Urn not picking up any charges for a while now. His early activity has not continued onwards towards the mid game, but now that they've got the Global Silence back online, the hook shot as well as the Reaper side, perhaps they'll look to make a play, but I see no smokes available on the side of the Dire just yet. They are calling one out on the Courier.
Yeah, I mean, the Radiant side has some good aggressive wards to spot out the enemy, but there is only a single one, and it's a very common one as well from the side of A5. So they're not seeing as much as Signify are seeing. They're not getting as much information. They have some decent wards on the choke points.
No, I think you've got it the other way around, man, because Signify's got just that one ward, while A5's actually got 3 observers planted down.
No, I mean, they have one on top and they have one near the...
Oh, you mean one aggressive ward? Yeah, they've just got one aggressive ward placed down so far.
I mean, the defensive wards are okay, but all of them aren't coupled with sentries, so when the Moonlight Shadow Gang comes, it probably will not be spotted.
Right. Scamblue, spotted out by the rocket just buzzing over his head towards the top lane. They've got a Linken's on Blizzard as well that keeps him fairly secure, but speaking of security, Crowley's not so sure about shouldn't be so sure about his movements here. 835, channeling up that epicenter. All in is the commitment. They're gonna do a fair bit of damage on him. He's gonna force up further to the south and then just denies himself before finding out what happens next. But at the same time on the top lane, they end up scoring the kill on the Necrophos. An eye for an eye, but this one doesn't get denied, as they even get an objective on that tier 2 after it.
I think it's a better trade for A5 because there is a Bloodstone on the Lina. That's simply that one item, and losing those charges makes it up.
I don't think so, man. I mean, I think the Bloodstone charges, sure, you've lost a few Bloodstone charges, but you didn't give up any gold, you didn't give up any EXP. Lina's actually a high value kill with 12,000 net worth. And after all, you did get an objective as well as a kill on the most crucial hero on the side of Aggressive 5.
Sure. I mean, if you look at the game, you generally wouldn't assume that Signify have a 16k lead in 26 minutes. But, I mean, it looks pretty equal to me, the game. I won't really say that Signify are that ahead. But the goal chart says otherwise, though.
I think that's primarily because you don't really have that massive physical DPS hero on the side of Signify. Yeah. I think that's what gives that sense of a slight trailing, a slight trail that they're facing right now. Because usually with magic damage, you tend to fall off mid-game, especially in a game where Lina's going to have to make defensive items. It is a rather problematic situation.
Also, they've picked up all the outer towers, while Aggressive 5, they have a single outer tower. So that is actually adding to that gold lead that they have.
Scamblue spotted out again that Radiant Observer ward giving valuable vision. Oh, sorry, the Dire Observer ward giving valuable vision, but he's even got a gem on that Batrider, and now they're going to leave Aggressive 5 in the dark. But A5 are not going to take this one lying down. They come in with the smoke. They spot out the Batrider. They burrow strike him as well. The Global Silence not being committed. The 4 staffs, the double 4 staffs will get Scamblue out and away while the hook shot comes forward. A third 4 staff as well onto that Coddle who's just standing next to his shrine. Nobody dies on the side of Signify. Now it's their turn to respond. The arrow being concealed with the leap will catch out the silencer while the blast from the Coddle pulls back the clockwork, scoring that kill. The epicenter came in. The Reaper sight is there and they'll get the kill on the Mirana as the Echo Slam is unloaded. Nova's right in the middle of the fray. The Batrider with the Flame Break, but they've just not done enough damage as Skembalu's in trouble himself. It'll be Flare that hits the deck first, but under cover of invisibility, Signify are kiting around this fight, getting themselves a few more kills. Owa tagged with the Burrow Strike inside the trees. Lulu, no Firefly available. It's even nighttime, so those heals aren't going to kick in now. Lulu getting greedy, going for that DD rune, will now pay for that with his life. They're going to need one more Burrow Strike, but 835, he whips on it. Can't quite catch out Lulu just yet. He's going to be able to make a break and an escape.
I mean, normally if you look at such a scattered and spread out team fight, you'd think that someone like the Weaver would have a lot of advantages, but it's not the case really. Even though A5 managed to pick off the Mirana very early in that fight, they still got kited around pretty heavily in the later stages. I mean, the Echo Slam was perfect, but there was no real damage coming in from someone like the Mirana at that point. It was just the Batrider right-clicking people.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but what was fortunate for Aggressive 5 at least is that Reaper side kill on the Mirana. It's put her out on the sidelines for a good amount of time. Necrophos did get that regen kicking in that fight as well, and I believe he survived through all of it and just went back to farming after. So in addition to the Blade Mail, he's got a Blink, a Hood, and is now making progress towards a Rod of Atos, which really is the perfect item in this game. The more control they have, the better it gets to lock down and kill off that Mirana, and even trigger that Lincoln Sphere.
But I must give credit to Skembalu here. He's been baiting the enemy really, really hard, and he's been living every time to tell the tale. I mean, he has the gem, and he shouldn't really be playing that deep and playing so ballsy, but he's managed to live through it. So, big props to him in that team fight there, especially.
I think the game plan here for Signify is to just wait for the next daytime to kick in and then try and make a push or make a play. You've got that Coddle advantage coming in with the Aghanim Scepter. You need to have that vision advantage going into these team fights as well. Might as well just wait for the daytime to kick in, which is in about 2 more minutes before you pop that smoke. They're actually going for a Rush, but I don't think they have enough damage to bring him down. Well, okay, they do. It's going to be slow and painful, but they should be able to get the Sages.
It gets spotted out as well by the clock.
Mid, you've got Ova trying to create space, and well, his shenanigans look like they're going to be punished here. Where's that Necrophos? We're looking for the Blink and the Reapers. He's coming in slowly, but doesn't get in range quickly enough. Flare always there to steal intelligence. That's worth it actually. I think Ova kind of deliberately did that. He was hoping not to die, but
bait.
If he had to, so be it.
Yeah, he kind of forced himself in that mid lane and fed that kill to secure the Aegis. I think it's pretty much worth it because now Mirana has that Aegis. So now she can be a little aggressive, leap in aggressively and try and follow up that Echo Slam there.
Well, looks like we've got a pause coming out. Late night lags are kicking in apparently. Signify. Just gotta wait 1 more minute before they're at their fullest fighting potential. Daytime will kick in and Ova will be back online as well. Do they have any way to mitigate that global silence just yet? None whatsoever. No Yules, no Greaves, no Mantas, no BKBs. Just rely on...
Cloud is building a BKB though.
Is he? Oh yeah, he's going for the BKB. He's got his Hurricane Pipe finished up already.
Yeah, I mean honestly for the amount of farm which the KOTL has, he's not had that much impact, or it hasn't been that visible his impact in the team fights.
Yeah, but I think they just had that one team fight though, which happened when Night was kicking in. So his real efficacy will be seen in the next 40 seconds or so.
Yeah, I think once the nighttime gets over, they're gonna group up and go down the mid lane.
Yeah, they have the recall to pull Ova back into the lane, so they're gonna let also up on top. They're going straight in for the clockwork. They will put some heavy commitment into this kill. Without the clockwork for 45 seconds, it's go time. They're looking to take some objectives.
I think it's okay for Signify to commit these ultimates.
Oh,
they're not that heavy on the cooldowns.
So the clockwork respawn time coincides exactly with the respawn on the Laguna, on the cooldown of the Laguna and the Batrider Lasso, so it's absolutely worth it.
And now Blizzard has a diffusal blade, so he's going to be hitting pretty hard. I mean, normally people don't consider Mirana to be a right-click hero, but he actually has some great attack speed and some great animation on the right click as well. So
he's also gone for the agility talent and then the attack speed talent on himself. So he's going to be hitting fairly hard here. 835, just going to be able to blink out here. He's actually blinked into the... Oh, wow. Okay, that was too close. Blizzard, unfortunately, didn't have vision of it there.
yeah, that's actually a good blink now that we see it in hindsight.
No chance. Forced off into the low ground. There was a hook shot coming in. They've actually found Crowley. He doesn't have his BKB just yet, and nor does he have the glimmer. Sorry, the force staff of the bike available. He just denies himself before Paddling can drop that Reaper side. But little does he know, Paddling had no mana, and now it's just the turnaround coming out from Signify. They're gonna get the first kill off onto the Clockwork. They'll move forward. They'll trigger the Lincolns. They'll lasso him up, and they're gonna take away his mana as well. There's the epicenter coming in from 835, but the Echo Slam is there as a retaliation. The heals coming out from the Illuminates will get some healing going for Over, but he dies eventually as Flare will follow him to the grave. It's going to be Paddling. Now getting stunned up. The mana leak has worked its wonders. Blizzard actually jumps into him, uses the Star Storm, gets the kill as 835 mans up, stands his ground and goes into Blizzard looking for the kill, but gets pushed back with a flame break as Blizzard gets an Ultra. Is he going to take down there? Indeed he will, but he had the Aegis. Signify coming out on top in that fight, but it doesn't seem that convincing to me. They lost 3 for themselves, they lost the Aegis, but it's so close to the base that they can take a tier 3 and make it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, this fight was in daytime and I still didn't see those big heals coming in from No Chance there. It kind of delayed Crowley's death for a while, but he still ended up falling, and he's not had the impact he wanted to have.
One heal that came out on the Earthshaker, but he ended up dying eventually anyway. But I think more than the heals, it's actually the vision advantage they get. You get unobstructed flying vision, if I'm not wrong, once you get that Aghanim Scepter, which is just pretty much disgusting when you have a Bat Rider on your team. And again, they're just going to go in, using that Bat, using that Lasso, following it up with stuns and Laguna Blades, and the death of the Clockwork once again.
Yeah, this Bat Rider play coming out from Scambaloo has been fantastic. He's created so much space for his team that it's almost unbelievable that a Bat Rider is being able to do so much.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's really been on top of his game here, and is one of the reasons why Signify is still putting out ahead in this game.
Yeah, and we have to keep in mind that he's not the traditional off-lane player. He's actually the carry player for Signify.
I mean,
he's 4-0 and 14.
He's at that phase in his career where he's just riding that confidence high, hitting 8k MMR, playing all sorts of roles and positions, leading from the front lines for his team.
He's playing without a death as well, so big
Are you serious? He hasn't died at all this game. That's just commendable as all hell. Lulu, once again, looking for a pick-off, goes for the silencer, but the Yule stops him in his tracks, but the stuns are there. They're gonna blow up the silencer, so there's no global silence for this fight available. It's Negi. Gonna walk in again, now the heals are coming out, everyone is back up in fighting shape, the hook shot away defensively, but the arrow followed him and got the kill. They got the kill on the Blizzard, the epicenter came in, the Reaper side doesn't quite finish the job on Over as he ends up going down eventually, but not with the extended death timer. Blizzard doesn't want to stand and right click into a blade mailed up Paddling, but Paddling just mans up and tries to stand his ground, but can't do nearly enough. The Necrophos hits the deck, while Negi's on cleanup duty, but Negi's been tagged with the mana leak and can't scurry out too far either. He needs to be careful. The arrow's gonna tag him. Scambaloo, will he maintain the 0 deaths record so far? It looks like he just might. He's going in again. He's gonna be able to stay away from the swarm, and he baits it perfectly, getting the kill on Negi for his teammates.
And he's baiting them so hard, just riding on that cliff, giving that gem vision, and this has been one impressive performance coming in from this Bat Rider.
Unbelievable play coming out from him. I've got to say, they take some serious balls of steel to be able to go in on such low HP into a Weaver that's ready to fight. But Lasso again, gonna start the fight for his team, gets that kill and forces the GG as Pasol goes down next. I mean, this was just the Scambaloo show.
It was. It was basically A5 getting 8K'd.
No doubt about it. With that, Signify will take the win and they will secure their slot at the finals of the ROG Masters South Asia qualifiers, bringing themselves one step closer to competing at the APAC quals. Hope you guys have had a blast today. We apologize for any delays that might have happened, but I hope tomorrow's going to be better. We will be starting early in the morning at 10 AM. It's going to be Team Council versus Go Figure in a best of 3. The winner of that game will face off versus Aggressive 5 for a chance to make it to the main event day after tomorrow. Hope you guys have a blast. I'm CloudX. With me was Gambit. Earlier on we had Vivek as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Do get up early and join us as well.
Falling on the ground, long day but we won't back down. One thing playing on our minds, long wait but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now, the ground shakes as our love gets loud. Champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting tide, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. Can't tell if we're dreaming now. We watch as the fire falls down. One thing playing on our minds. Time stops and we don't make a sound. You crave the love I gave and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer